we have a very, very interesting story involving a leaked audio tape. There's this really popular topic of conversation now, which is whether or not collusion is a crime. And this relates to Trump-Russia, in case you weren't aware. When we talk about is collusion a crime, it's not relating to, I don't know, it specifically is because of the Trump-Russia investigation that's going on. Despite denying that collusion is a crime, Trump regularly calls for Hillary Clinton to be investigated for colluding with Russia. So it seems Trump, on some level, must know that collusion can be criminal. Yesterday, we had a really great piece from an LA Times article pointing out that the Trump-Russia meeting in and of itself can be criminal. Trump has claimed that it's, quote, totally legal in a tweet over the weekend, but the meeting itself also can be criminal. But now we have something potentially even more interesting. Remember that guy, Devin Nunes? He's the Republican member of the House who for a while was running the House investigation into Trump-Russia. But then we found out he was secretly going to the White House to tell Trump exactly what it was that the investigation was doing. Not something that is morally acceptable, ethically acceptable, and apparently that was what pushed him over the edge, and he was no longer running that investigation.
Yeah, and then he hinted that he was going to recuse himself, but continued running the investigation. It was all very weird, and lo and behold, the House Intelligence Committee didn't find any evidence of Trump-Russia collusion, and that's over now.
Shocking that they said case closed even after talking to missing key interviews with witnesses, but they said we didn't find any wrongdoing. So anyway, Devin Nunes, there are secret recordings which Rachel Maddow obtained where Devin Nunes is explaining to donors at a fundraiser about 10 days ago that actually, yeah, collusion can be a criminal act. This is straight from the horse's mouth, right? The guy who was there running the probe in the House until he had to leave because he was compromised, saying collusion can be criminal. The leaked audio came from the progressive group Fuse Washington, who turned it over to the Rachel Maddow show. Take a listen to this.
Now, if somebody thinks that my campaign or Kathy's campaign is colluding with the Chinese, or you name the country, it could happen. It would be a very bad thing if Kathy was getting secrets from the Portuguese, let's say, just because I'm Portuguese by background. So if Kathy was getting secret information from the Portuguese, may or may not be illegal, but ultimately, if that said the Portuguese came and brought her some stolen email, she decided to release those. Okay, now we have a crime, right? Somebody stole the email, gave Kathy released it. Well, if that's the case, then that's criminal.
So let's explore what is Devin Nunes saying here and what isn't Devin Nunes saying. Nunes is not saying what Trump did is criminal. Okay, that's not what Devin Nunes is caught on tape saying here. What Devin Nunes is saying is the blanket statement that collusion isn't illegal is flat out wrong. Trump keeps repeating it. Trump's attorney repeats it. Other Republicans have been repeating it. Collusion is not a crime. Here is Devin Nunes behind closed doors saying something completely non-controversial for most of us, but it's not something you usually hear from the right, which is actually collusion can be criminal. Now, when confronted with this audio, of course they will say what Nunes meant is if Trump had gotten the dirt on Hillary, and if that dirt on Hillary had been illegally obtained, and if Trump released or used the dirt on Hillary, then and only then might it be illegal. But of course, that's a distraction because we already heard yesterday from two legal experts in that LA Times piece who explained the intent to conspiracy to defraud, the intent to conspire to defraud, I think better said, is a crime regardless of the outcome of the attempt. If you agree to meet with Russia for the purposes of receiving something of value, dirt on Hillary, to help you win an election, you've received things of value from a foreign country, you have conspired with them to defraud one of the fundamental government agencies of the United States, the Federal Elections Committee, which is there to run fair elections free from foreign influence. Even if you don't get the dirt, even if you get the dirt but you don't use the dirt, the intent that you had there already is the crime. So it's not hugely surprising that lots of talking points around Trump-Russia from the Republicans are lies. They seem to know that they are publicly saying things that aren't true. And from this same leaked tape, by the way, it's also interesting that Nunes seems really afraid of what happens to Republicans and what happens to Trump if they lose the House in November. He seems genuinely panicked, and he should, because he's part of the problem that should be investigated. And if the Dems do take over the House and Senate, and then they can start subpoenaing some of these documents that Republicans haven't been willing to turn over, they can take control of some of the committees that should be doing some of these investigations. So a lot of what's going on right now, Nunes knows you need to keep a Republican House and Senate to protect yourself. If they lose it, a lot of this stuff changes, and that's why people have to vote in November.
And you may find this surprising, but it looks like Devin Nunes is pretty safe in his district. He has a Democratic challenger. I think his name's Andrew Johns. And apparently back in June, Nunes was 8 points up. So who knows? It is California. It is like the Fresno area, which is pretty conservative. It could flip. But as of now, it looks like Nunes is pretty safe there.
Yeah, and of course, it's not about him personally, but it's about those 68 Republican-held seats where the Democrat currently is in better shape than, what's his name, O'Connor was in Ohio's 12th district special election earlier this week. So Nunes is panicked, and Republicans should be, but only if we actually go out and vote. Send me your thoughts. I'm on Twitter at @dpakman. We will take a quick break and be back after this. Today's episode is made possible in part by BetterHelp.com/Pakman. I've spoken about the unfair and unfortunate stigma that there can be around therapy. There shouldn't be, and BetterHelp makes things even easier for you. If you've been thinking about getting involved and working with a therapist, you get access to fully licensed, experienced psychologists and therapists through your phone or computer. All you have to do is go to betterhelp.com/Pakman. You fill out a questionnaire. They match you with a counselor that'll work best for you. You can ask if you want that your therapist not be religious, if that is important to you. And at any point, if you think your therapist is not a good fit, you can switch and work with somebody else. It's less expensive than seeing a counselor in person, but BetterHelp also gives you unlimited access to your counselor. You can talk to them every day if you want. You will not get that with an in-person therapist. So go to betterhelp.com/Pakman. So easy to sign up and get started. We've put a link in the video description if you're watching on YouTube. Check it out, betterhelp.com/PAKMAN.